Okay, I went and got Marshmallow. She could be here for the introduction to the video. Marshmallow, we are going to be talking about chickens today. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, as you guys can see by the title, we are going to be talking about all things baby chickens or baby chicks. It is that time of year where a lot of people are getting their baby chicks who are just getting started into chickens, and I've actually had several relatives text me, call me, message me, wondering about what they should do, how to get started in chickens. And so I thought I would just make like a comprehensive video here. It's going to be hopefully pretty brief. I don't want to drag it on too long, but I do have 5 main points that we're going to go over on how you can get started with baby chicks and basically just the basics of everything you need to get them started. I'm trying to position myself here where you can see my chicken run and my barn outside. You can probably see them walking around. It is going to be windy, but I'm hoping that the wind will die down as I talk, and then if I see it picking up, I'll stop for a minute because I know that's really annoying. My toddler is asleep. If you hear anything, it's the monitor that I have him on so I can watch him. So if you hear that kind of in the background, that's what it is. Now this video is going to focus on starting baby chicks. It's not going to cover the adult phase and what you need for them as adults. I may make another video on that. If anyone's interested, let me know in the comments down below and I'll make that video. So the first thing that you need if you are looking into getting baby chicks is somewhere to keep them, like some sort of a brooder that you can keep them in while they are little. I personally use a big clear tote that I actually got from Walmart, I believe. It is 200 quarts. That is the minimum size I would recommend for a brooder. You can also get like these steel tub like drums. You can get like oval drums from TSC or any of your like co-ops and things like that, or any local farm shops that you have, but they do run pretty expensive. We have actually bought one, we have bought 2 actually for the horses for their water, and they do run you over $100 a piece. They're pretty expensive. Even the smaller ones are over $100. And then to keep the chicks safe inside from anything like animals, or which we don't have any chicks while we've had a toddler, but if you have kids or anything, you can obviously get like some sort of a mesh, a metal mesh or a chicken wire or something, and you can actually lay that over the top of the tote just to protect anything from getting in there to them. And that's what we actually did. You guys have seen that on this channel, and that really works for us. Along with the tote, you will need some sort of a bedding. I actually have the bag here that we use. This is the bedding that we buy. It's Flock Party Fresh Flakes. This is basically a really nice, thin, small pine shaving that works really well for chicks. We get this bag at TSC. I think I go through about 1 of those bags per chick season, with cleaning out the tote about once every 5 to 7 days. Now, obviously, if you have a lot of chicks and you have a much bigger space that isn't like a giant tote or one of those drums, then you may go through a lot more bedding than that. But for us, that bag works great. We've never had a problem with that bedding. It works good for chicks. You obviously don't want anything really dusty because they are babies, and you don't want anything small enough for them to eat because they don't really know how to interpret things, and those pine shavings are pretty large, so I've never had any issue with that. But you just want something that is safe for them and that is dry and that can stay pretty clean, and we have a really good experience with those. You can get it wherever you want or any bedding that you choose, but I do recommend that one. The second thing that you need if you're wanting to get baby chicks is some sort of a chicken starter crumble. Now there are tons of brands that you can get. If you want to do a Purina starter crumble, it just has to be any type of a chick starter crumble. We choose organic starter crumble because we feed our chickens organic only. We obviously do value organic eggs, and so we want our chickens to eat organic, and all of my chickens came from TSC. Now we haven't gotten into that subject yet, but TSC does have organic chickens, and I'm going to get into that more in a bit. Just need some sort of a chicken starter. You do not want to feed them any type of a large pellet. An adult crumble, which has like a lot of calcium and things for egg laying, because your chicks obviously don't need extra calcium yet because they're not egg laying, so you don't want to give them anything like that for adults. You just want to give them a good starter crumble. That will get them going, and then once they are a little bit older, you will be able to transfer them onto a large chicken feed or a large chicken crumble. All right, the third thing that you need for your baby chicks is a food and a water dish. The food dish can be something really simple like this, just big enough for them to get their beaks in but not get their whole bodies in. This does come with a funnel on the top similar to this one, which we're gonna talk about, but I take it off and it's just easier to feed them without dealing with that the funnel. Scoop it into the food bag and fill it up that way, and then I just put this in there, and this has just been great. You just need something that they can eat out of, that they can't make a huge mess because it has small holes, and these are really cheap. You can get these, this one doesn't have a price, but you can get these literally anywhere. I've seen them at Walmart, I've seen them at any feed store, and so you need that. The next thing you need for your chicks is a safe water dish. This is my preferred water dish. I got this at TSC, obviously everything we get from there. You do want to have some sort of a safe water dish. This one is obviously a little bit bent because I've used this for 2 seasons. And basically you just fill up your water, you put the lid on, screw it, and then you tilt it upside right. Now, obviously the chicks cannot drown in this. You don't want anything super deep. You don't want to do a tub or like a Ziploc container, anything like that, because you don't want them to drown. It needs to be something shallow that they can't get in, they can't make a mess, and that is perfect for babies. So this is my preferred. Now it does help to not set this straight on the bedding. They will kick a lot of bedding in it. So I typically will put like a brick, like an actual, like we have a bunch of leftover brick from when our house was built. I don't know, but we do. So I will actually take like 2 bricks, lay them side by side and sit this on top of the bricks. And that works really great for us. And the food, I will just sit straight on the bedding because I actually take some and shake it into the bedding, and they like to scratch, and that's what teaches them. It's so cute watching baby chicks scratch and forage for food. It's so precious. So sometimes I'll just take that and sprinkle it. And so this goes straight on the bedding. I'll sit this on something to just raise it out of the bedding a little bit, but you do need both of these. Another thing that I want to mention is in your chicks' water, you can get these little electrolyte packs. I actually do this with my chickens. I don't do it unless I feel like they need it. It may only be once every 2 weeks. I might put some in their water just to give them a little boost of vitamins and minerals and electrolytes. If you have a baby chick that you think is going to pass away, or it's a little bit lethargic when you bring it home, which is very, very common, especially if you get chicks from a really bad breeder, or you get them from somewhere that's maybe a little questionable, or if you ship them. A lot of times when shipping chicks, it's very stressful. You can have a chick that may not make it, or maybe really lethargic because it's dehydrated, and they can pass away so easily. They're so delicate. You can get those little packs. I don't have one to show you. I have a bunch of them in the basement, but I forgot to get them. But basically it's like a little vitamin and mineral and electrolyte pack, and you just put it in like a gallon of water, shake it up, and you can put some in here for them. And I have heard people say that if they've had a lethargic chick, it can bring them back. Like, it will literally spark life back into them. So I just thought that I would mention that since we're talking about the water dish. The 4th thing that you are going to need for your baby chicks is a heat lamp. This is probably the most risque part of this whole thing, but it is a must. You have to have some sort of a heat source for your brooder. I've seen people use like these little heater type mats that are raised off at the bottom, and the chicks can go underneath of them. I know they sell those. Those may be safer than a heat lamp, but I've always used a heat lamp personally. And then we just make sure to put like multiple fire detectors around our chicken tote. Yes, that's what we do. I put a security camera on them. I put smoke detectors around them, and then I'm not afraid to use this. That's just what we do. Everyone has an opinion about it, but this is what I use to keep my baby chicks warm. Warmth is a must. Whatever method you use, it is a must. So this actually has a clamp on it. Again, I got this at TSC. This video is not sponsored, but it's just where I get it. This basically just has a clamp on it. So I clamp this onto something that is standing next to my tote. I don't clamp this on the tote itself because it actually doesn't angle the right way. Like, you don't want this sitting on the metal. Like, again, you don't want this sitting on like the mesh top I was telling you about. Like, if you put it over your tote or your brooder, whatever sort of roof you have, you don't want this to sit there. And you also have to have this far enough away where you don't burn them or catch the bedding on fire or anything crazy. So what we do is we actually put a heavy chair next to our brooder tote, and then we clip this onto the chair, and then this hangs over the tote, and we find that that works really great for keeping our chicks warm. Now, this is a ceramic fixture. You do have to have a ceramic domed fixture if you want your heat lamp to be safe. And then of course we just have a heat light lamp bulb in here, which you can also get in any chicken section. Wherever you probably get your chicks, you can get those heat lamp bulbs. The dome obviously is a must. You have to have that on there. It's a safety thing to keep it from touching the chicks, or if it falls, it's a safety thing to not fall onto the top of your brooder or anything like that. The 5th and final thing that you need is obviously your baby chicks. Now, wherever you choose to get them from is completely up to you. Now, all of my chickens that I have ever had have all come from TSC. I've never had a sick chicken. I've never had one die prematurely to sickness as a baby chick. I've never had any issues with my chicks from there. They also have a really good variety. Some people do not agree with getting chickens from TSC. However, I looked into getting them from local hatcheries, getting them shipped from hatcheries. I looked at Hoover Hatchery. I've looked all around my local area. Unfortunately, I have never been successful at getting from a hatchery or online or anywhere other than TSC because every hatchery, including Hoover, has like 10, 20, and 30 chicken minimums for certain breeds of chickens, and I've never wanted to get 10 chickens at one time. I only get 4 at one time because I want to build my flock slowly so that they don't all go out of egg laying at the same time. I like to offset their ages, so unfortunately, I have never been able to find a hatchery that allows only a few chickens at a time. A lot of people locally are only giving away adult chickens, so I did adopt 4 of my chickens. I got them as adults. They were already 2 years old when I got them. That's Marshmallow, Bellina, Nugget, and Little Gray. You guys know those original 4 if you've been around on my channel. I have previous videos of them in my playlist, which I'll link on the top of the screen. Did adopt those 4. And then when it came to adding more chickens, I couldn't find another good situation of like adult chickens to bring in with them because they were all bantam. My original 4 chickens are all bantam breeds. Marshmallow is my world. I love her. She's a white silky. She is a bantam breed, so she's pretty small. I have a red cochin that I named Bellina after Return to Oz, the movie. And then I have 2 little game hens. They're just like little gray game hens that I named Nugget and Little Gray. All of them were my original 4 that I adopted. And I got them as 2-year-olds and they were already laying because I wanted to add more birds to the flock. If you have smaller breeds of bantams like I did, it is easier to add in chicks so that they all get along and you don't have any bullies or anything, rather than getting adult chickens and then adding them to your flock. I tried that, it did not go well. I did adopt 4 more chickens that were, I think they were Americanas. It was like 2 Americanas and then 2 big white chickens. I don't know what they were called, but I did adopt them and I added them to my flock and it was awful. They were such bullies, so I ended up having to rehome them, sadly. And so I went back down to my 8 that I have, and I still have 8 chickens. 5 of them are bantams and the other 3 are full-size chickens. I ended up getting some Plymouth Rocks, which they're also called Plymouth chickens or Barred Rocks. When I got them, they're called Barred Rocks, but they're basically like Plymouths, very similar, and I love them. If I ever get more chickens, those are the ones I'm getting. And then I did add a Rhode Island Red. I actually had 2 and 1 passed away. So I had 2 Rhode Island Reds and I got 2 Barred Rocks. Those were the last 4 chickens that I got, and I raised them up as chicks. They're full-size chickens, but they do not bully any of my little birds that I originally had, and that's what I recommend anyway. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll be happy to answer them in the comments. If I missed anything, feel free to leave that in the comments and I'll pin it. If I see anything that I remember, I'll pin it in the top of the comments. But it is that time of year. I know that lots of you are going to be looking into getting baby chicks, so I do hope this video was helpful on getting your chicks started. If you want to see a video on adult chicken care, leave that in the comments down below and I will be sure to make that for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Be kind. Bye. This is Marshmallow, my most precious silky. She's one of my original 4 birds that I got, oh my goodness, over 4 years ago. So she's probably almost 5.5, 6 years old now. And I love her so much. I thought I would bring her to say hi to you guys. Hi. See, we love Marshmallow.